Good morning. Welcome to Pries Capital. You must be the new recruit.
Oh, is this the new recruit?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Follow me, Mr. Superstar. Here at Pries Capital, we love showcasing art. The stunning bronze dragon sculpture Pico by the renowned artist Nano Lopez is definitely a showstopper. And these pieces on the walls, the legendary Michael Godard is practically a rock star in the art world. There's art all over the office, creating a vibrant, creative atmosphere to work in and collaborate in. And here is Tyler Pries, our hardworking mortgage loan officer. If you're looking to purchase real estate in the Myrtle Beach area, Tyler's the guy to know.
Looks like you have your hands full. Ashlyn, can you grab a book for him? And I'll see you at the meeting.
And here's Raj, one of Jason's right-hand guys for commodities trading. Good morning, Raj.
Good morning.
Meet the new recruit.
Hi. Hope you like to work hard and play hard. This is a high-stakes environment. Split-second decisions can make or break an opportunity. Welcome to the firm.
Don't worry about Raj. He's a quiet powerhouse, but he's critical to everything we do here. And here's the founder and real estate powerhouse herself, Tina Pries.
Good morning. How are you? So glad to have you with us. Can't wait to see you in action. We're just about ready to start the meeting for Jason's market analysis. I will see you both in the conference room.
Good morning, Jason. This is the new recruit.
Hey, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Your skill set is exactly what we need. I love people dedicated to their craft. But hey, I got to get ready for this morning's analysis, so I'll see you in a bit.
Thanks, Jason. You're awesome. Right here, we have one of our many conference rooms. And down the hallway over here, we have the intelligent and sharp-eyed Miss Jill.
Why, thank you, Ashlyn. Nice to meet you.
Jill thrives in the world of spreadsheets, balance sheets, and financial forecasts.
You'll fit right in, so go check out your new office.
And here's your new office. And over here, we have some welcome goodies for you. Just a small thank you of saying welcome to the family. Okay, so I've got to get ready for the meeting, but check out the gym over here, grab some coffee and bagels in this room to the right, and then I'll meet you in the conference room.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Go ahead, take a seat. Welcome back to another morning market analysis. Let's get comfortable and dive in.
The perfect pullback setup, turning the holiday session into profit. It's a holiday trading session, but make no mistake, opportunity doesn't take the day off. After Friday and Monday's strong rally, today's setup is all about the perfect pullback. The charts are flashing two clear clues: a breakout from a well-defined range and a healthy retracement back into balance. That combination often marks the sweet spot where disciplined traders find the best risk to reward entries. Good morning. Welcome back to another Team Day Trader edition of the Daily Market Analysis. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. As always, subscribe and check out the resources linked in the description to stay ahead of the game. Let's get back to this as we get into the charts, and we'll bring this back. But I always like to start usually the morning off, one, saying good morning to everybody here on the stream, and two, going over just the market overview, right? Kind of set the tone into this morning. Hopefully you guys got your coffee. Take a sip of that. Brought to you by Y Charts. Here's what you need to know heading into this morning's session. Market outlook, equity futures pointed downward, right? We do got a little bit of pullback. That's what we're going to talk about in this morning. What else do we got for news? This follows a strong Monday session. We already know that. European markets are moderately higher midday. Today is Veterans Day. Obviously, that's what we were talking about for a holiday session. U.S. equity markets are open. Bond markets are closed. No major government economic data releases due to the holiday. A couple things, well, they talk about that. The government shut down developments, right? The U.S. Senate passed the spending bill to reopen the federal government. Hopefully, tomorrow on Wednesday, the House is expected, and obviously Trump has signaled to support it. We're hoping to get, does it talk about that in today's? I didn't even read this morning's. I was so busy working up the trade journal that I didn't get the chance to skim this. So does it even have it? Yeah, it says, right? So hopefully that we get the inflation and the jobs report, NFP, by Friday. We'll see if that happens. If they pass it on Wednesday and the government opens up. So that will be a big time look into Friday. Something to look forward to, I guess. Right? I love a little bit of volatility. Right? We, as traders, hopefully you enjoy a little bit of volatility. That's the way we make money on a day-by-day session. Earnings calendar. Lighter day for high-profile earnings. You got CLTD, ticker SE, Alcon, ALC, and Oklo, AKLO, after the market. Rest of the week we're going to keep our eyes on, right? I definitely will keep my eyes on Cisco, Walt Disney. I don't know about Applied Materials. That's not on my kind of watch list. The normal key market movers, NVIDIA, CoreWeave, Rocket Labs, Papa John's. Watch for that. I've been watching that volatility after the report. That seemed to get kicked off a little bit. There was definitely some movement in Papa John's after that earnings report. Oil hovering around 60. U.S. dollar, and let's look at the gold trending higher on an hourly chart. I like that chart. Dollar in the last hour is definitely kind of nice hourly pullback, sell off there. Gold is stuck in that range. I really like this though. This high 50s, low 60s. You know, to me, it just feels like on a longer term chart. You know, a buying opportunity, risk to reward. You know, anything under 55, then that would be concerning. But I've talked about this before. Anything in the oil in that high 50s, 60s. I think last week I talked about this in the morning analysis, that I really like that, buying crude in and around here, looking for that to move higher. Other themes and international markets. What do we got here? Asian exchange closed mixed. Nikkei, as far as, right, when was this? This was updated on 8/17. It's 8:37, so we're about 20 minutes. So the Japanese Nikkei down negative 0.1%. Hang Seng plus 0.2%, really just flat. UK labor market data came in weaker than expected. Summary, expected cautious, slightly lower open, yada yada, we know that. Economic data delayed, we know that. Key earnings, we just talked about that. That's it. That's it for the Y chart summary. I want to do a Fed Watch tool. Always like doing this every so often. Well, when I say every so often, a couple times a week. Probabilities, 63% chance that we get a cut in December this month. One thing I like to look at when I look at this is down here at the bottom on the Fed Watch tool, brought to you by the CMA Group, where's my markers? Is down here, you know, a month ago, there was a 97 or a 91.7% chance, right, of a cut. Fed came in, a little hawkish, right, gave the hawkish remarks, and that dramatically moved from 91 to 68.6, and then again from last week to this week, right, we went from 68 to 62, right? So again, that, you know, I am watching that, as right, the probabilities. Now the one thing is when we do get the government data, does that then, right, spook everybody, and that data comes in weak, you know, and even weaker than what's expected, and then watch this as what changes in this, you know, from 62.4, which was a day ago yesterday, and then it moved up, and again 63.6. So you can see right here. Other thing I want to look at, I always like looking at, so one, I like looking at the current target because I really like this data down here just to kind of always put myself in perspective of the direction, like where is the market kind of direction heading from 1 month to 1 week to 1 day. And then the other thing that I like to do is just look at, the probabilities. Right, so again, just where are we looking out into the future and how much this changes. Right, so we are looking at, you know, going from 375.4 to 350, 375, really, right, into December and January. Going into the March meeting, looks like they're expecting another cut, right? But really what we want to do is, what is the expectation? Is we got one cut for the, right, one for 2025. We'll just do one for 2025. And then what do we got for really going into 2026 is really just two cuts, right? Two cuts into 2026. And so what we want to watch for, and then, right, like there's no cuts in 2027. So, you know, that's what we're constantly looking at. You know, like I said, I look at this about every two or three times a week, and then see how these things develop and change over time. So 2 cuts in 2026, no cuts in 2027. But they are expecting one more cut going into the end of the year. So with that said, let's get into the charts, right? So the charts are where we make our money. Again, from things to note from just a higher time firm view is futures remain constructive, but prices consolidating. I'm going to take this away for just 1 second. I do want to go into just looking at the daily chart, right? Let me open this up a little wider. Everybody can clearly see, right? There's that Friday, that big move down. But anyways, we are making these lows, highs, right? Right, so we are making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then we made a higher low on last Friday. So I don't want to get too far in the weeds because, you know, we do a monthly report. So we'll look at even higher time frames, weekly charts, and monthly charts. But right now, right, we're day trading today. We did have a big move up, right? Friday and Monday, we have a gap to reconcile. We'll look at that in the chart. And then, right, we're kind of pulling back. And this is where I talk about this is the great opportunity on the pullback. Now, most of you guys know for the month of November, I am coming into this month a little bit with a bearish bias. Going into the month, I do believe on a monthly chart, what we're going to see is we made a high in October. There's a low and a high in October. And I do feel as of right now, which hasn't been confirmed correct in the analysis, right? We got it right. We really got to take out October's low or October's high. But right now I am positioned bias short where the expectation and the setup, and again, this is not a gut feeling, this technical analysis setup is where we make a lower high and a lower low on a monthly chart. So in that perspective, I just want everybody to know where my mindset is, right, as I am moving forward. Right now, as we go into faster time frames, right, we take this down to the hourly chart. In fact, why don't we move over to the... Let's talk about this on the volume profile. right? When we look at this on an hourly chart, this is where, right, on that day chart, you have that, you know, higher highs, higher lows. Now on the hourly chart, as we get a little granular, right, we do get these, right, lower highs, lower lows. And so there has been a change. And so we were short, you know, really going back to the end of October. And, you know, taking more short trades than we were long trades. Now, Friday, as we got this rip, Friday gap into, you know, opened up Sunday and then into Monday trading, right? It's just been this fearless move higher. Now, again, when we get into the charts, you guys will see where, you know, we get granular on a 5-minute chart, where I am looking at how are we opening, volume deltas, and how do we take advantage of day trade setups going into today. But this is just a rinse and repeat pattern of how I look. I turn on the computer every morning, and then what I'm doing is going through with you guys of how I go from a, you know, this top down approach into higher time frames, into lower time frames, and what's all happening from one stage to another. So yes, we know on a daily charts, markets rip roaring. On an hourly chart, we have had a little bit of a pullback, right? And so what we're looking for when we think through on a monthly chart is, do we get that lower low? And so this is where I'm watching, is this high right here, is this a trap? And that's really the, if this happens, then this should happen. So if my thesis is correct, and November is going to be a lower low and a lower high on a monthly chart, then this, you know, if these were, I mean, right, we can all see that these are hourly candles right here on a 60-minute chart. But if this was like a 2-minute chart, right, how would we be looking at this? Is what you're looking for is a move, could be up, could be down, but you get a move, and then what you're looking for is a move. It sets a you know, let's look at it like this, because usually we're looking at it as you get a move higher, you get a move lower, you get a move higher, and then what is this? Whenever there's an inflection move, right? Say the move is going down, 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 you get a move higher, lower, another higher high, and then this right here is the trap, right? And then bulls usually take it, right? And then this becomes the trap, and you want to buy that trap. Now let's reverse this, right? So now we're going up. You know, we've been going up. We're coming down, right? We make a lower high, we come down, and then we come up, right? And then this becomes the trap. And then, right, we make another leg going down. And that's the sequence. So now where are you wrong? You're wrong as this leg right here does not break down, right? And then this comes down and then squanders and then comes up, and then you take out that high. So again, that's if this happens, then this. And where are you wrong? And so we have this great hourly move, right? And so this move, this sucks everybody in bullish, right? As of right now, I can guarantee you that everybody's bullish, just bulled up, you know, looking at this Friday, Monday range. And so what I'm looking for is, it could be very possible, right? Anything's possible. What's probable is this is a trap where from Friday into Monday, government, you know, it's funny how they talked about before when the government did shut down that the market was kind of rallying and nobody gave two shits about the government shutdown. Now all of a sudden the government is opening up, and then all of a sudden we care and the market's rallying. So do they not care and the market was rallying, and now they do care and the market's rallying? I just kind of, you know, which one is it? That's why I don't get into anyways, brain fart. I don't get into that fundamental storytelling. Anyways, I can't think of the word that's coming at the tip of my tongue. But the thing that I'm looking for is, what concluding signals is telling me that my thesis is either right or wrong. And so right now, this downtrend, I'm looking to see if this is a trap. Now, as this pulls back, is this a pullback from this move? Right? We get a move. I like this trap right here. That was a nice trap this in yesterday's session, right, where you have, right, a big move up, right? And then you trap underneath this low, right? And then you got that acceleration move at the end of the day going into yesterday's close. And now, is this just flagging? And that's what we're looking for as we open up. And again, if this is just flagging, right, then what we're going to do is we're going to open up and then, right, take out the high, right? And then again, on a daily chart, you made a low on Friday, you made a high, and then you make a higher low and a higher high, and then this will just be a higher low and a higher high. If that ends up playing out, right, as we move forward in time, then this will just be a flag. We'll look back in time and be like, hey, this is a flag, and then we get the push, right, and then we get another push. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, but again, that's where I'm wrong in the thesis, is this is a flag, and then you get a push. Now, the other probability is that this is still intact, right, and this is a trap, gets everybody bulled up, we open up, and right, we find ourselves chopping, and then they take it lower, right, and then we target the gap, and then what we do is, right, on a daily chart, you'll look at this as a low, a high, a low, and a high, and then we open up and we make, right, a high, and then it's a lower, we go back into the sequence where this sequence, right, makes a lower low, and then we flip back to this bearish, right, high, or lower highs and lower lows. And again, if I'm right, we're going down here. If I'm wrong, right, then I know where I'm stopped out at, and right, I have to flip bullish. So again, this game of trading, once you understand as years go by, flipping long to short, knowing where you're right, understanding when you're wrong, and being able to flip becomes in time. Anybody who's traded for a long time, you have a trade set up, it's either right or wrong. And if you're wrong, you get out. But if you're wrong and you're directionally traded the wrong way, then what's the other way, right? These things, it's an up and down, situation. So if you're short and you're wrong, then you got to flip to long. And if you're long and you're wrong, right, you flip to short. So you should know when you're wrong, have a setup, clearly defined rules, know when you're right and know when you're wrong. So that's it on the hourly chart. Before we move into the trigger chart, let's just look at some profile. I always like to look at these, our weekly profiles. So this was last week's profile. This is this week's developing profile, right? So this is static. Last week's profile, this is developing. Let me move my markers, my crayons. Right, and so what does this chart really tell us? And so what it tells us is last week's balance range sits in right here of value and balance. We're trading right now right here, right? The point of control of last week is around 68.20. I talk about that in the trader worksheet, which we'll pull that back up. But that 6820 is going to be that Fight Club range, right? You can see that there was distribution node in this week's where we fought in and around, spent time in distribution in and around that 6820. Excuse me. And right now we're on the higher. There is an LVN right here at around 6836. So we're going to watch that as we open up. That should be something to be watched in the first thing in the morning. Right as we open up, if we were to open up, we got about a half an hour more till the open. This 6857 should be resistance. It's the developing point of control in the overnight session. I shouldn't say that. This is actually not in the overnight section because this is Sunday, Monday, and this morning's overnight. So this is actually 3 days of a profile. But that 3 days of profile, that 6857 definitely has a high volume node, right? As we open up this morning, that's going to be the level of resistance. If buyers, right, really kind of take it up through that 6857, that's going to be kind of, again, it's that signal that tells you right or wrong, right? If it is bullish, right, and Friday was an inflection low on a higher time frame day chart, then we're coming in here Monday. This is a pullback, right, as a pullback, and then it's a go. This level of 6857, right, they'll break above it, pull back, hold the pullback, and then they'll take off, right? And then we'll really be looking at, my whole thesis of November. And again, the whole probabilities of seasonal trading November and December is obviously super bullish, back testing that. So, me coming in November with this kind of lower low, lower high on a monthly chart is a little bit contrarian view. I just look at the way that this year has been playing out. We're just getting long in the tooth, going from the tariff lows in April, it's just been straight up, and nothing goes straight up in a straight line. You're going to get some pullbacks or some consolidation, so sideways trading. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm kind of expecting some exhaustion going into the Thursday or the November and December. Now, whether that is in a range and right time and value sits going into a range, or do we get the November where we get a little bit of a pullback and right lower low, lower high in the monthly chart. But as of right now, we're day trading this. Watch this 6857 on the charts. Let's attach this. This is the profile, looking at it on each individual day. And again, right, we were value, and then you can see where value was constantly migrating lower, right? So from last week, we had value migrated lower, sideways, lower, and then Friday lower. Now, we closed at the highs on Friday, and then we opened up, there's a gap, and then, right, value migrated higher. So that's what we're watching going today is, was Friday an inflection low on a daily chart? If it is, then, in quotation marks, then we should continue building, right, value higher up, and then taking out and creating new all-time highs. If this is a trap high up here above this inflection, then, right, buyers become less active, sellers become more active, right, and then this value will migrate, and we should develop value down here and fill the gap. And that's the thing that we want to be watching for. So with that being said, let's go to the trigger chart, and we'll end today looking at the trigger chart, looking at how pathing is, and so on and so forth. So going on to the trigger chart. That's because I'm on hourly chart. I was like, why does that look so funny? It's great. Okay, so for today's session, right? Yeah, yesterday's, actually I want to back this up one more day. Because I want to get Friday, so I want to capture Friday in here. Right? So we got the gap right here. We want to be on the lookout for this. Right down and around that 67, 68, 65 level. The biggest thing that we want to talk about is we are in balance. Right? So we are opening in balance. The other thing, let me bring out my notes here, is when I was writing the report at 720, we were neutral to bearish and overnight skew. We were about negative 1.46% net short volume delta. So, right, so as we're coming into this morning's session, there is skew, negative skew of 1.46% net short. So does that volume correct, or is that confirmation that as in the overnight and then sellers and they build upon that volume delta into the negative short? So that's what we'll be watching for, right? Is, and again, I want to say it's neutral. It's not very high. You know, you get into like 3-4%, that's this is neutral. It's kind of like a neutral, like anything between 0 and 2% is kind of a neutral skew. It's not really overbearing one way or another. So when I say negative 1.46, that's not a big number in delta change. So, we're under 2. So it's, in all regards, somebody'd be like, well, Jay, that's neutral skew. So it is neutral, but it is neutral to bearish. Just to kind of, right, these are the things that I always write down as in my notes in my journal. The 10-day ATR sits around 76 points, right? So remember, as we open up from the high to low, right? So from high a day to low a day, wherever that might be, right? There is a really good, comfortable range that favors good day trading. Right, 76 points in a range is really good. I mean, I remember the days of like 2016, 17 or whatever, and it was like, you were grateful if you had an 11-day point range. Most of the time it was like 7 points. You were scalping, 7 points, and it was slow and boring. 30-point ranges, those are nice, but you get into these ranges of 76 points on a 10-day, your 10-day ATR. Those are nice ranges. It gives you nice opportunities and to make some money on a daily. A couple things. One, let's add this back now a little bit granular. I am looking at day trade setup number 3, strict balance range. So again, we are opening up in balance. So the first setup, we're in the middle of that kind of balance. I'm looking at day trade setup number 3. I'm allowing the range edges to define themselves. And then what I am going to be looking for is moving into that day trade setup number 5, which is the trap door entry. So I'm looking for rejection of value for trap formation and then diving into the next leg. Levels to watch, right, is that 68.57 level, right? We talk about that. I showed you definitely volume nodes. So this high volume node of 68.57, that's going to be very important going into today. If this is a pullback, right? And this is a flag pattern from Friday where we pulled up and then we're flagging in rotation back, then, right? This should be then a move up, breaking the flag, pull back. We'll probably get sticky here for a while, but then there should be a continuation move. And then again, above 68.65, right? That is yesterday's high. And again, higher highs, higher lows, right? Friday, Monday, and then this would be then Tuesday. Again, if that's not it, and this was a trap, then this low will not, right? It would be it's going to end up being like a lower high and a lower low. and then this will be Tuesday's range. So again, think of ranges, understanding how the market moves, one steps ahead. And, you know, if you're day trading and you're trading, you have to, you know, yes, you have to be able to visualize ahead of time and take actionable trades, you know, if you're looking at a swing chart. But it's funny when people draw charts and they're like, oh, it's going to move like and take out like 3 days. That's usually not how trading works. I mean, if I pull up a day chart, you know, we're making higher, it's like stair stepping. It's not like, you know, very rare, and it does happen, but it's rare. And so, yeah, you'll get a day, and yeah, it takes out like, you know, 6 days of trading up, and then one day will just take out all 6 days. That does happen, but that's not the majority of times. Most of the time, it's just, you know, move up slowly but surely, or even a move down. I mean, you know, if it's just a little bit of a mild correction on a day, you know, say you move 3 days higher and you get a fourth day and it kind of moves down and just takes out the previous day's low, and that's it, not 1 day of low, and then it keeps on marching up higher. So as you're day trading, keep these things in mind, right? Don't try to think too far ahead. The market usually doesn't move. You know, we're not ripping, taking out multiple days every day and taking out multiple days of price action. So, you know, day trade type 3 in the strict balance range, and then look for day trade type 5. These overhead to watch. On the low side, again, we talked about that 68.20, right? Range, and on a higher time frame, that chart number 2, the hourly volume profile chart, there is a major LVN at 68.10.5. I think last week we were looking at that and it was 68.09. It has, right, with volume added in over the few days, that now has migrated up a little bit. That low volume node is now at 68.10.5. So that's definitely watch those areas of exhaustion within selling pressure. Yeah, other than that, that's all that I have as far as today's trading. What do we got here? I always like to remind everybody, listen, if you're trading or you're a day trader and you want to come out, meet us. We would love to shake your hand, talk markets. I'm always looking for traders. You know, so if you're living around in Myrtle Beach, you know, come see us in the office. Check out our website. Our private equity and investment research is really priestcapital.com. That's where we kind of hang our hat. This day trading is just part of portfolio construction. We do a lot of managed futures in the portfolio. And so this is where, right, this is me day trading and managing that portfolio with managed futures. Our office number is here. You can check out our email. Our trading website is teamdaytrader.com. So again, that's kind of our trading division of Priest Capital. Again, I'd like to invite you guys over to the office. If you're looking at real estate, you want a short-term rental real estate, or if you're looking at moving here, this is a great retirement community here around Myrtle Beach. So really, no matter what kind of age bracket you're in, younger, want some passive income, real estate is definitely a great place here in Myrtle Beach. My wife owns Priest Capital Real Estate, a brokerage firm. Get in contact with her. Right, my son, he writes mortgages with Movement Mortgage. Get a hold of him. Right, we're all investors, into finance, and into real estate. So hopefully we can help you. Hopefully this day trading morning analysis helps you in the markets, understanding how markets move, one baby step at a time. and right, you can build wealth one day at a time. So with that said, as always, learn, trade, profit, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.